Welcome to the Texas Department of Transportation San Antonio District's pre-recorded presentation for the proposed improvements to SH-16 or Bandera Road from I-410 to Loop 1604 in Bexar County, Texas. We appreciate your interest in this project and thank you for your participation. This is a pre-recorded presentation made available online on Thursday, February 6th, 2025 by 5 p.m. The National Environmental Policy Act review and approval process applies to this project. The environmental review, consultation, and other actions required by applicable federal environmental laws for this project are being or have been carried out by TxDOT pursuant to 23 U.S.C. 327 and a Memorandum of Understanding dated December 9, 2019 and executed by FHWA and TxDOT. Because safety is a priority at TxDOT, we begin each meeting with a safety minute. Today, we will highlight TxDOT's End the Street campaign. The last deathless day on Texas roadways was November 7, 2000. That means, for over 24 years, at least one person has died every single day on Texas roadways. We all have a part to play in changing that. Texans can play a major role to end the streak of deaths on Texas roadways with a few simple driving habits. Wear seatbelts, drive the speed limit, put away the phone and other distractions, and never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. This presentation will provide an overview of the Bandera Road project, details of the proposed refined improvements, and how you can provide input. At the end of the presentation, there are instructions on how to submit questions and comments. To be included in the official record, comments must be received on or before Friday, February 21st, 2025. Your comments are an important part of this process and will be considered in project development. You are encouraged to talk to your neighbors and refer them to the TxDOT San Antonio District so they can also make comments and be included in the process. Open house materials may be viewed at www.txdot.gov, keyword search SH16 Bandera Road. The information on this webpage is the same information being shown at the in-person open house. Let's get started. The project limits are SH16 or Bandera Road from I-410 to Loop 1604. The project is approximately 6.5 miles in length, and it is located in Bexar County, Texas. Subject to final design, the proposed project will require approximately 17 acres of right-of-way and 2 acres of drainage easement. The goals of this project are to improve mobility, safety, and community connectivity, reduce congestion on the Bandera Road corridor, and accommodate bicyclists and pedestrians. Proposed improvements for Bandera Road include expanding the existing 4 to 6 lane divided road to an 8-lane parkway, converting 12 existing traditional signalized intersections to signalized restricted crossing U-turn R-cut intersections, and adding shared use paths to both sides of the roadway for bicyclists and pedestrians. The Bandera Road project started with a feasibility study from 2018 to 2023. Throughout this time, there was continuous community engagement, including workshops, business forums, briefings, pop-up events, public meetings, and property owner meetings. In October 2022, several roadway recommendations were presented at the virtual public meeting with in-person open house. In December 2023, the feasibility study was approved by TxDOT, and the cities of Leon Valley and San Antonio expressed support to move the project forward to the schematic and environmental phase. Recommended features carried forward for the Bandera Road corridor include at-grade parkway with R-cuts concept, shared use paths for bicyclists and pedestrians, access management, and opportunities for corridor placemaking by others. The map illustrates crash data along the Bandera Road corridor. From 2019 to 2023, there were 3,333 crashes along the corridor. 25% of these crashes resulted in injuries and 6 fatalities were reported, 2 of them being pedestrian fatalities. The analysis of crash data from 2019 to 2023 showed that most crashes occurred near or at an intersection. The bright orange-red color on the map indicates areas where there are a higher number of crashes. The green color indicates where there are a lower number of crashes. As population growth continues in the project area, more vehicles are using this roadway. This chart shows the average daily number of vehicles that traveled along the corridor in 2018 when the feasibility study began, and the projected number of vehicles that will travel along the corridor in 2047. As you can see, the greatest volumes of vehicles are observed on the southern end of the corridor when compared to the northern end. Now let's compare travel times. The top chart compares the projected delays for the entire corridor of Bandera Road for 2047. The bottom two charts compare projected delays at intersections along Bandera Road for 2047. All three charts show delays during the AM peak period from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and the PM peak period from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. For 2047, two scenarios are presented, the no-build condition and the proposed condition. The no-build condition serves as a baseline, assuming no improvements are made and Bandera Road remains in its current state. The proposed condition assumes that the project is implemented. The proposed improvements would reduce most of the travel times. Please note that the no-build travel time on Gilboa Road to Eckert Road in the AM trip is due to the bottleneck north of Gilboa Road, which limits the volume of traffic that can reach this segment of Bandera Road in the AM peak period. To better understand the proposed improvements, we will look at the existing conditions of Bandera Road. Bandera Road from I-410 to south of Seneca Drive currently has 3 lanes in each direction, direct connector ramps with 1 lane in each direction, and discontinuous sidewalks within an existing right-of-way width of 180 to 222 feet. As you continue to travel north along Bandera Road, the corridor from south of Seneca Drive to Gilboa Road currently has 3 lanes in each direction, signalized intersections, and discontinuous sidewalks within an existing right-of-way width of 170 to 270 feet. Bandera Road from Gilboa Road to Loop 1604 currently has 2 lanes in each direction, signalized intersections, and discontinuous sidewalks with an existing right-of-way width of 170 to 220 feet. Now let's talk about the proposed design. From north of I-410 to south of Seneca Drive, TxDOT's proposed design includes providing shared use paths for bicyclists and pedestrians. Please note that this is the only proposed change in this section of the roadway. The proposed right-of-way width would be 180 to 230 feet in this section. From south of Seneca Road to south of Loop 1604, TxDOT's proposed design includes widening the road to 4 lanes in each direction, converting 12 existing traditional signalized intersections to signalized arc-cut intersections, and providing shared use paths for bicyclists and pedestrians. The proposed right-of-way width would be 180 to 280 feet in this section. TxDOT evaluated multiple breakout projects and may construct the project in 2 separate phases. Phase 1, from I-410 to Gilboa Road, which is the southern segment, and Phase 2, from Gilboa Road to Loop 1604, which is the northern segment. TxDOT is proposing to build the south half of the Bandera Road corridor first. Building the south half first would provide the greatest reduction in delay and improvement in throughput, improve the segment with the highest traffic volumes and crash rates, construct shared use paths for about 60% of the corridor, and construct ADA crossings at 12 street arc-cut turnaround intersections. With any project that receives federal funds, TxDOT is required to evaluate the potential environmental impacts and follow the National Environmental Policy Act of 1969, otherwise known as NEPA. In compliance with NEPA and other federal and state environmental regulations, the environmental process included evaluations of potential impacts to the natural and human environment. This included evaluations of water resources, traffic noise, biological resources, and social and community resources. TxDOT avoids, minimizes, and mitigates environmental impacts to the greatest extent feasible. Subject to final design considerations, the proposed project is anticipated to require approximately 17 acres of right-of-way and 2 acres of drainage easement. Non-residential structure displacements are anticipated. All right-of-way acquisition would be completed in accordance with the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970 as amended. For further information on TxDOT's right-of-way acquisition process, please visit TxDOT.gov, keyword search Landowner Bill of Rights, or scan the QR code shown on the screen. The Bandera Road project started in 2018 with an existing conditions assessment. In 2020, the feasibility study was conducted and multiple alternatives were presented to the public. In December 2023, the feasibility study was approved by TxDOT, moving the project forward to design, schematic, and environmental studies. TxDOT anticipates environmental and schematic design approval in 2025. This timeline is subject to change. A couple of things to note. There is currently no funding for improving Bandera Road. TxDOT has begun coordination with regional partners to identify funding opportunities for the preferred build implementation plan. Right-of-way acquisition and utility relocations would follow approval of the design, schematic, and environmental studies. Construction timeline has not yet been identified. The next steps in this project will be to document, evaluate, and address public input, refine the proposed roadway design if applicable, and finalize schematic and environmental documentation for submission and approval. TxDOT encourages and requests public input on the following: proposed improvements under consideration, any additional environmental issues, and access and travel concerns. Your comments are important to TxDOT, and you can submit them in the following ways. At the in-person open house, please provide written comments on the forms provided. Visit TxDOT.gov, keyword search SH16 Bandera Road to submit your comments on the online comment form. Email your comments to banderaroad@pausecam.com. Mail your comments to the address noted on the screen, or you may give verbal testimony to the court reporter transcriber at the in-person open house. Questions or comments may be submitted to TxDOT and the project team at any time during project development. However, to be included in the official record, all comments must be received or postmarked by Friday, February 21st, 2025. Responses to comments will be included in the official record and will be posted on TxDOT.gov, keyword search SH16 Bandera Road. Thank you for joining us today. This concludes the presentation.